Screen Rants. Bad takes.
Okay, 10 biggest disappointments in the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah, this is a good list. It goes as you might expect. Most of these types of articles
The One Ring's abilities are ambiguous. How so? They make you turn invisible and corrupt you. Unless it's Sauron wearing it, then it gives him a bunch of power. How is that ambiguous?
But also, guess what? When it comes to the magic in Lord of the Rings, it's nebulous because it's the source of the problems, and what makes it interesting is being able to overcome it when you don't understand it.
Kind of. But this is actually one of the examples of a hard magic system that wasn't ambiguous. It turns you invisible.
Yep.
The Maiar magic was soft magic, so it is more ambiguous.
Not only that, but it was one of the best things. Some of the most. Well, whatever. Let's continue.
Legolas does little to move the plot because he's a side character?
Yep. I was saying you could insert that for every other member
of the Fellowship?
Of the Fellowship.
Gimli.
Every one of them by themselves didn't have a huge
you
impact.
You could even say
plot.
that about Aragorn.
Yeah. He was just there until the end of the Return of the King, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. But I mean, straight with Gimli at the is the easiest one to swap it out for.
Yeah, it's the sum of the parts, right? You know.
The elves have given up. Yeah, because that's part of the story. Their time has passed.
They've been there a long time.
Which also really undercuts the way that the Rings of Power is trying to be like, oh no,
they're trying to use that same trope.
Yeah.
They're trying to do the same thing in Rings of Power.
Except that the elves aren't accepting it this time. They're like, no, we don't want to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where they were going with this point.
Yeah.
Men should not
Did a woman wrote this? I'm gonna make the bold assumption that a woman wrote this.
So at first I thought this was a gender thing, but I think this is actually just saying mankind should not inherit Middle Earth.
That's
was
made
the story
for man. That's why Middle Earth exists.
Okay, I got it. I got lost in translation there.
Well, and I thought for a second it was a gendered thing because we've got this bit where you've got the king that's making mistakes and Wormtongue that's messing him up, and maybe it should have been Arwen or something like that. But no, that's not what they're saying. As much as I could believe they would say that, they're saying mankind shouldn't inherit Middle Earth. But that's what the story is. This is coming into the age of man.
That's literally why Middle Earth exists.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm upset. The timeline.
Just to justify the Rings of Power, right?
Nothing to say.
It was just to justify the Rings of Power.
Literally. The timeline is just fine in the original Lord of the Rings movies. It's
linear.
Not, it's very linear. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I always lost the timeline, and the Lord of the Rings makes it, linear, so it's easier to follow. Not only it's easier to follow, but it makes sense. It's logic.
And maybe it's still not completely clear whether this happened over the course of months or years or whatever, but it's still is clear that it took place over time, and they laid out the fact that time has passed for these people. Whereas if you compare this to Rings of Power, which has garbage timeline management,
most importantly, you know what happens first and what happens later. And you are not wondering, did the Harfoots did it before, or did Elrond and Celebrimbor were going at it in Khazad Dûm before, or later? What is going on with the timelines?
And when people are traveling, hey, guess what? We have a traveling montage.
Mhm.
We
And
show
those
scenes
matches-
of them getting from
Yeah.
place to place. It's not like,
Sometimes-
oh, we're suddenly over here.
But sometimes we have montage, and sometimes we teleport from one place to another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we do a little bit of map transitions in Ring of Power, but then we decide not to anymore.
Hobbits should have been given shoes.
Yeah. This one made me laugh so hard. It's like that's yeah.
Films
And then
have
of course
a diversity problem.
I'm surprised that they didn't put that as number 1. I'm surprised that's only number 4.
You're probably gonna see
Because
something.
it is European mythology.
Yes.
Uh,
Exactly.
But they are.
women
There are.
barely exist in Lord of the Rings. Okay. You know how
Again.
they say, write what you know? Well, Tolkien was a man who served in war and hated war. I don't know if you know this, but it's mostly just men
Especially back
who
then.
get sent to war.
Especially back
It's
then.
not that he didn't care about women, it's that he didn't know how to write women very well. Same as me. If I'm trying to write a book and I don't know how to write women very well, so
He wrote.
I'm not going to put a lot of them in the story that at least that have viewpoint chapters
But even so, the women that are in the show
are done
friggin'
so
awesome.
well.
They're powerful.
I mean, in the
Mhm.
books,
They're
not in the
integral
show.
to the story.
Not in the
Yeah.
show.
I'm sorry that every single writer on earth is not omnipotent and knows exactly what it's like to be a woman. Deal with it. Guess what? Still the best selling books of all time. Go screw yourself.
Like you said, it was another time. You know, a man
Lord of-
wasn't thinking about what a woman thought. A man was thinking about what men thought.
The Lord of the Rings has too many endings. No, it has one ending, and it's called an epilogue. It slows down a little bit. Grow up. Deal with it. Try watching Rings of Power. The hobbits won't survive long because I'm assuming the reason here is because like colonialization, right?
I think
When
that's
Gandalf
where they're
arrives in the
going,
Shire,
yeah.
he remarks that they're
Anonymity is their best defense.
I don't know. I look. So war is going to come to them, and they'll just be,
Wiped out
taken
'cause they're
over
not
easily.
warriors,
Except
something.
that I don't know if you've read the books. There's a whole section of it called "The Scouring of the Shire," where the hobbits fight back against
actually-
the forces of Saruman.
That's actually that
And
second paragraph
win!
there. That's actually what that second paragraph is saying, is that the movies don't show that. Because that's not
But-
what the movies were about.
Do you know
Like,
why
can you
they didn't
imagine?
show that? Do you know why they didn't show that? Bing, 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 bing. Because people were complaining that it had too many endings.
Already, yeah.
Grow up.
That was so nice.
Yeah, but not only that too, but even if you're just talking about the movies, after the events of the Lord of the Rings, the hobbits were known to the rest of the world. They were largely before tucked away in their little corner of Middle Earth, and they were rarely seen, except occasionally by the people in Bree when they came down for a pint or whatever. They make a note of that. But at the end of the thing, all of the kingdoms bow down to them, and they say, when they try to bow to Aragorn, they say, "Hey, you
Aragorn.
bow to no man.
You
we
bow
bow
to
to
no
you."
one.
Now
Yeah.
everyone knows who the hobbits are and what they did for Middle Earth. And you saying that, oh, they're just going to be run over and run out
Wiped out.
by
Yeah.
by colonialism?
Yeah, but forget about that. It's just a generation. So the next generation are not gonna know about the hobbits. And if they
Right.
know something about the hobbits, it's something positive because
Mhm.
of the coronation and scene in the whole show. So
Yeah.
and the guys that saw that coronation that know about the existence of the hobbit, they are not gonna attack the hobbits for no good reason because they know they helped a lot. So
Exactly. They would be revered across all of Middle Earth. Their stories would be told and passed down to generations. They're not going to be coming and wiped out from. I don't know. It's dumb.
Yeah.
But yeah, this list is as bad as any of the other ones. I'm just surprised that number 4 was the lack of diversity. Because normally that tops the number 1 on these stupid lists.
Yeah. There's no many morenitos in the movie.
But don't worry, guys, because Rings of Power Season 2 will be more canonical. We promise.
Show me. I won't believe it till I see it.
Copium. It's copium. Yes. Yes.
But it's like, how are you going to recover from what you've done to the lore in this first season?
You can't. Moving on.